Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see fifth chapter, The Hundred Dresses, Part 1. The writer of this chapter is Al Bizur Easter. Now let us go to the introduction part of the chapter. Now in this chapter we come across a girl who had been treated very differently by her classmates. Now, it often happens around us. Sometimes we might have observed there would be some people, there might be someone who has been treated differently, maybe because of less money that person has, because of wealth, because of possession, or there would be something less in that person because of which the person has been treated very differently from others. This story, The Hundred Dresses Part 1, talks about this story is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Vanda Petronsky is a young Polish girl who goes to school with other American children in an American town. These other children see Vanda as different in many ways. Now, Vanda Petronsky is a Polish girl. Due to some immigrations, along with her family and other people, they had settled in America very long ago. As her family members and other relatives and other people, because of immigration, they settled in America. And then Vanda Petronsky was born. Though she is a Polish girl, but she was brought up in America. And she started going to the school in America with American children. So these children who are studying in the school, they started considering Vanda as a different girl. Why they discriminated her, or why they never behaved equally with Vanda. That is the story all about. Today, Monday, Vanda Petronsky was not in her seat, but nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. It is Monday, the first day at school. Vanda Petronsky was not in the class. She was not on her bench. She was not on her seat. There are two girls, especially, who made fun of Vanda. They are Peggy and Madeline. Now, these two girls who started all the fun, they started teasing Vanda. They noticed today when they looked on the last seat of the classroom, last bench of the classroom, they noticed that Vanda was not there on her seat. She is absent. Usually, Vanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. So, in room number 13, Vanda used to sit next to the last seat in the last row, means she was sitting on the last bench of the class. Though she was a girl, she was supposed to sit front or in between, but she was sitting in the last among boys. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. This is the seat, this is the place where Vanda was supposed to sit, and she was sitting there every day. She was sitting near the corner of the room where rough boys of the class, rough means all those boys who did not study properly, those boys who never studied, used to sit on the last bench and they never got good marks. Along with those boys, Vanda used to sit. Those boys used to make the sound of scuffling of feet. Scuffling of feet means when we drag on the floor, means when we are wearing the shoe and when we drag on the floor, some noise is made. That is called a scuffling of feet. So sometimes when any teacher or if anybody used to say something, boys used to make scuffling of feet, means boys used to make a sound, noise of the feet. Sometimes they used to roar. Roar means they used to laugh very loudly when any funny thing was said. And there was a lot of mud and dirt on the floor. And in this particular surrounding, Vanda used to sit. Vanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. Now, if you might imagine that what could be the reason for Vanda to sit among these rough boys. It is not that Vanda was also rough and noisy. No. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. Vanda was a very quiet girl and she never said anything. Rarely she used to speak when she is asked. Anybody had ever heard her laugh out loudly? Means, and nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Means nobody had heard her or nobody had seen her laughing loudly in the classroom or at school. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. If at all, if she wants to laugh or if at all, if she wants to smile, she used to twist her mouth into a crooked sort of smile. Means she used to give a small smile on her face. That's it. No laughing, simple smile. Nobody knew exactly why Vanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. Now, nobody came to know exactly as to what was the reason for Vanda to sit on the last seat, but it might be understood that Vanda used to come all the way from Boggins Heights. Now, Boggins Heights is the place where Vanda used to live. This was a very dirty place, muddy place, or we can say this place was outside the city, outskirt area of the village. Basically, when we talk about slum areas in our language, slum areas, where all the huts are there, tents are there, and those people who live in these slum areas, they are poor people. Same was the case for Vanda. As she was living in Boggins Heights, this place was very muddy, and whenever she used to come to school, her feet were caked with dry mud. Means she used to walk through mud, so her feet were covered with mud. But no one really thought much about Vanda Petronsky once she sat in the corner of the room. After she enters into the class and sits on her place, nobody used to think much of her because nobody paid attention to her. She was sitting at the last seat on the last bench. The time when they thought about Vanda was outside of school hours at noon time, when they were coming back to school or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the school yard. As long as they sat in the classroom, that time nobody remembered Vanda. Vanda was remembered mostly outside the school hours, maybe in the afternoon time when the school is over and the children are going back, or in the early morning time when the school begins, when group of 2 people, 2 children, 3 children, when they are standing, they wanted to laugh, they wanted to talk, so they wanted Vanda to pass jokes on her, they wanted Vanda to comment some things on her so that they can laugh. Then sometimes they waited for Vanda to have fun with her. So basically these 2 girls, Peggy and Madeline, they used to wait for Vanda in the morning time so that they can have fun with her. They can crack some jokes at her. They can pass some comments on her and then they can laugh. The next day, Tuesday, Vanda was not in school either and nobody noticed her absence again. On Monday, she was not there at school. On Tuesday also, she is not in school and nobody noticed her absence. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, short name of Madeline is Maddie. Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a hole, did notice that Vanda wasn't there. So on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, they were sitting with other children who got good marks and who didn't track in a whole lot of mud. And these people, Peggy and Maddie, they were sitting in the first bench, on the first bench with other children who got good marks and who did not track in the mud, means who did not have mud to their feet. They noticed that today Vanda is not there in the class. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Now, Peggy is the most adorable girl of the class. Why? Because she comes from a very wealthy family. She comes from a very rich family. She has got good clothes. She was very pretty. She had many pretty clothes. Her hair was curly. We can assume that Peggy is the most adorable girl of the class. She is the most influential girl of the class. Means whatever she said, other girls used to follow it. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Vanda's absence was because Vanda had made them late to school. Now today, Peggy and Maddie came to know that Vanda is absent because they had been waiting for Vanda outside the school in the morning so that Vanda could join them and they could come to school. Why they wanted Vanda to join them? Because they could have some fun with her outside the school. That's why they used to wait for Vanda in the morning time. But today, they waited for her outside somewhere so that the three of them can come to school. But as she did not come, they got late to school and then they came to know that today also Vanda is absent. They had waited and waited for Vanda to have some fun with her and she just had not come. So as I told you, Peggy and Maddie, they waited for Vanda outside the school in the morning time so that they can come together. And while on the way to school, they can make some fun with her. But she did not come. They often waited for Vanda Petronsky to have fun with her. And usually, many a times, they used to wait for Vanda so that they can have fun. Vanda Petronsky. Most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith or Allen. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce. And people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. There are many children in room 13 who did not have such funny names. There are children who have got names like Thomas, Smith or Allen, Bounce, Willie Bounce. These names sound funny, Willie Bounce. But it is not so funny as Petronsky. So for Vanda, her name Vanda Petronsky was also the funny name. So other children of the class, they used to make fun of her name. Vanda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. When she used to come to school, no friends. When she used to go to school, go home, no friends. Peggy and Maddie used to just join her on the way just to have fun with her. Right? She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right. Every day she used to wear only one dress, and that too, it was faded. Faded means its color was little bit gone. Fade color. It was a blue dress whose color was faded. That didn't hang right. Didn't hang right means it did not fit her properly. It was loose. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. No matter the dress did not fit her properly, no matter the dress was faded, but it was clean dress. And though it had never been ironed properly, she had no facility of ironing her clothes also. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls to talk her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching little girls play hopscotch on the worn hard ground. Vanda had no friends, but there were a lot of girls who used to talk to her, not in a friendly manner, but to have fun with her. Whenever she used to go to the school ground, when other girls used to play hopscotch, the game, other girls of the school used to come and surround her, used to stand around her, and they used to ask her some silly questions and used to laugh. They used to ask her some questions, and when she answered, they used to laugh. So the main intention of the girl was to make fun. Hopscotch game. Hopscotch means it's a game in which children hop into the over square marked on the ground. Vanda. Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Miss Mason actually was their class teacher. Vanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So Peggy, as I have told you, is the richest girl of the class. Used to start making fun by asking her a question in a very courteous, in a very polite manner, as though she's talking to her teacher. And she used to ask by giving a nudge. Nudge means a gentle push to her friend. अपने friend को धक्का मार के वेंडा को पूछती थी, how many dresses you have in your closet? How many clothes you have in your cupboard? Closet means cupboard. You can see over here, this is Vanda, this is Peggy, and other two girls. One would be Maddie, and the other girl name is not mentioned. So just to make fun, she used to ask her, how many dresses you have? Vanda used to say, 100 dresses. Vanda's answer was she had 100 dresses in her closet. 100! Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously. Incredulously means showing unwillingness to believe, means not able to believe that she has 100 dresses. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. And all the little girls who used to play hopscotch, they used to stop their game and they used to listen to what Vanda said. Yeah, 100 all lined up. Vanda said, all the dresses are lined up in one line. Then her thin lips drew together in silence. Then she used to become silent. Then Peggy used to ask, what are they like? Means what are they made up of? What is the material? All silk? I bet. So Peggy used to say, all the dress would be silk dress. Yeah, all silk, all colors. So when I used to say, yeah, all the dresses are silk, all the dresses are colors. So Peggy used to ask, are they velvet? Velvet too. Vanda used to say, yeah, velvet also. 100 dresses. Vanda would repeat stolidly, all lined up in my closet. So Vanda used to say, she had got 100 dresses, and she used to repeat this stolidly. Stolidly means not showing any feelings. And all these dresses are lined up in her closet, in her cupboard. After giving the answer, they used to let her go. Means they used to ask her the question, make fun of her, then they used to allow her to go. And then before she had gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. After asking her question, she used to leave the place, she used to go away. Just she would have gone a little further, they used to burst into shrieks, when they used to shout, they used to cry in happiness, they used to laugh. Peals of laughter means they used to laugh like anything, because they have made fun of Vanda. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Vanda had was the blue one she wore every day. Every day, all the students of the class used to notice that Vanda used to wear only one dress, that is the blue color dress, faded color dress. So why did she say she had 100? What a story. So no girl of the class or the school ever believed that Vanda had 100 dresses. Why? Because every day she used to wear the same faded blue color dress.